Hacer is one of the most important verbs in Spanish. You have to know what it means, how to conjugate it, and when to use it if you want to speak Spanish decently. It's a tricky little verb, but it won't be if you learn it through chunks. I'm Spring Spanish teacher Maura, and let's start with the most common version of the verb hacer. Número 1. Haciendo, the conjugation we use the most. This is definitely one of the most common ways in which you'll see the verb hacer. It's gerund form haciendo. Me atrevería a decir que lo uso todos los días de mi vida más de una vez. Here's how it goes.
Hola, cariño, ¿en qué andas?
Hola, aquí haciendo el almuerzo. ¿Y tú? Hoy nos vemos.
Sí, yo estaba haciendo la tarea del curso nuevo que te comenté y ahora estoy haciendo ejercicio. Cuando termine, me arreglo y salgo.
Like with all gerunds, haciendo never changes. The verb estar in front of it does. Estoy haciendo el almuerzo. Estaba haciendo el almuerzo. To learn more about gerunds in Spanish, watch this video from Spring Spanish teacher Mariana. Apart from using it to say what you're currently doing, like haciendo el almuerzo, you can also use it to talk about things you've been doing lately or regularly, like a new activity or discipline. Vale, muy bien. Me acuerdo del curso, pero ¿tú no estabas haciendo yoga todas las tardes? ¿Cómo te da tiempo?
No, o sea, hago yoga rutinariamente, pero no todas las tardes. También hago natación, por cierto, pero solo los fines de semana.
As you can see, many physical activities like hago yoga use hacer as their verb, but it's mostly for physical activities that aren't games or matches, like tennis or football, for which you would use jugar tenis or football. It's more for disciplines and things like martial arts. For example, hago karate, hago judo, hago pilates. Chunk alert! En qué andas is a good chunk to replace qué haces. But they both mean exactly the same thing. No todos los países hispanos dirían esto, pero en el contexto correcto, la mayoría lo entendería así. Maybe someone would make a silly joke and say a pie because andar also means to walk. Simplemente ignóralos o ríete si realmente lo encuentras divertido. Joking aside, you can get more chunks like this by accessing the link in the description and checking our free Essential Spanish Chunking Kit. Número 2. Hacer, the conjugation in the present tense. Of course, you could learn a whole conjugation table for each possible tense, but in the middle of a conversation, it will be impossible to recall them all. So we're going to present them to you in the form of what? Chunks, claro. Ya. ¿Y dónde nadas? Tengo un par de amigos que también hacen natación.
Nosotros lo hacemos en un club deportivo cerca de casa.
Claro, eso lo hace más fácil. Before we continue, stick with me till the end if you want to get 2 chunks with hacer, which are basically idiomatic expressions which will make you sound like an absolute insider. Back to conjugating, we already have the conjugation for yo with our previous chunks. Yo hago yoga. The one for tú with our chunk alert alternative, ¿qué haces? By the way, keep in mind that we use this chunk mostly to ask what you're doing, but in the right context, it might also mean, what do you do for work? The conjugation for él and ella is the same as the one for eso, as you can see in this chunk. Eso lo hace más fácil. We also have nosotros. Nosotros lo hacemos en un club deportivo cerca de casa. And lastly, ellos, ellas, and ustedes, which use the same. Tengo un par de amigos que también hacen natación. Here's a little conjugation table that summarizes the above. We'll use the chunk hacer natación for this. Keep in mind though that we're not expecting you to memorize this, and it's only for completeness' sake. In red, you'll see what varies from the original word hacer for each pronoun. Número 3. Using hacer for household chores. There's a few household chores, daily life type of things you should know also use hacer as their main verb. Hacer la compra, hacer mercado. Both of these just mean grocery shopping, but some countries would use one more than the other, just one or both equally. Yo solo digo hacer mercado. Hacer la cama, hacerle servicio al carro. Remember, I'm from Venezuela, so I say carro, but this word has many alternatives in different countries. The point is, however you call it, you would still use hacerle servicio. Número 4. 2 awesome chunks with hacer. Here are those 2 chunks you can use to definitely impress whomever you're talking to by showing them your insider knowledge. Hacerse la loca. Use this to say someone has been acting as if they don't know what's happening. For masculine, use hacerse el loco. For example, le pregunté a mi jefa por el aumento de salario y desde entonces se está haciendo la loca conmigo permanentemente. Hacer el tonto. This might sound similar, but it's not about ignoring anything. It's more about acting foolish, like a clown. For example, bájate de la ventana. Deja de hacer el tonto que te vas a caer. Alright, let's review a bit. Fill in the blanks, would you? Yo, blank, yoga. Nosotros lo, blank, en un club deportivo cerca de casa. Tengo un par de amigos que también, blank, natación. Hacer is an irregular verb, a really important one. There are many more super important irregular verbs that you should know and be able to use. Chunks to the rescue, let's learn the 13 most important ones right now. Click the image on the screen to continue this lesson.